Hey, good evening and welcome to Between the Lanes, episode number 75. I'm Ron,
I'm Shane.
And I'm Walker.
aka Big Juicy.
Big Juicy.
Big Juicy. We won't even talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
So we're all back from our big race last weekend down at Walker's home raceway,
Yep.
slot car track, and we'll get into that here in just a little bit. And as always, welcome to the show Between the Lanes. You can find us on YouTube. Slot Racer is the channel. We now have 75 videos up, some how-to videos and some special episodes also. Find us on Facebook. Between the Lanes is the Facebook page. And we have the race results from last weekend and the winning report. We'll start off with the Ohio Retro Series was at Mark's Model World in Canton, Ohio. And in the Retro Angle Winder class, Greg Mayer, and this kind of goes from the left to the right. Greg Mayers was your winner. Jason Dennis second. Rick Starkey was third. Jeremy Dennis was fourth. And Scott Lemon was fifth. And then in Can-Am, this goes from the right side to the left. Jason Dennis in the gray shirt was the winner. Greg Mayer was second. Bud Bardos third. Al Rudy was fourth, and Greg Fox was fifth. And then in F1, this goes from the left to the right. Greg Mayer in the alpha shirt was your winner, and Jason Dennis was second. Greg Fox was third. Scott Lemon fourth, and Rick Starkey in fifth. The Central Illinois Slot Series was at Mid-America Bloomington. And they raced hard bodies and Can-Am on the Midwest Monster Flat Track, and then they switched over to hill climb for 4.5 inch and GTP. And if I hadn't been in North Carolina, I'd have been here. But anyway, in the hard body class, John Vincent was your winner. Ken Williams was second, and Toby Kindig was third. In Can-Am, Ken Williams was the winner again. Or no, that was his first win of the day. I'm sorry. Kurt Vincent was second, and Toby Kindig third again. In the 4.5 inch, Ken Williams was the winner there with Toby in second and Brian Wallig in third. And then GTP, Kurt Vincent was the winner. John Vincent, his father, was second. And Toby Kindig was third again. So that was your assist report. They had a lot of snow, so they didn't have a really big turnout, but I think they had like 11 entries. But the Midwest got hammered with snow this weekend. So
They got the football game on.
Yeah.
Right.
Kansas City.
The USCA was at Chicagoland Raceway, up around the Chicagoland area. And in the IndyCar class, Jeff Strauss was the winner, Rick Stagan second, Scott Morgan was third. In the 4.5 inch class, not a very clear picture, but nonetheless, JP Milcherska was your winner. Jeff Strauss was second, and Bernard Powell was third. Can-Am JP was the winner with Rick Stagan second and Jim Kreider third. And in the production 124th class, J.P. Milcherska pulled off the trifecta by winning that. Jeff Strauss was second, and Scott Morgan was third. Later in the day, the Mid-American Hard Body Club, Slot Car Club, ran at Chicagoland. And in the hobby stock class, Jeff Strauss was the winner. Dennis Clark was second. Dave Goss was third. Super stock, I don't have a picture of the podium, but J.P. Milcherska won. Brian Meharry was second. Neil Eisler was third. And then in pony stock, the last class of the day, Neil Eisler was the winner. Rick Stagan in the orange shirt was second. And Dave Goss in the AC South Championship shirt was third. The week before this last weekend, we didn't have the pictures, so we said we would put them on a future show. So here we are. The B&E Crosstown Challenge was at Mid-America Naperville. And in the dirt late model class, which ran on the oval, Neil Eisler was the winner, Rick Stagan second, and Bernard Powell was third. Hobby stock, Jim Kreider was the winner. Neil Eisler was second. Rick Stagan was third. And then I don't know if I think they call it Detroit Iron, but I think it's a combination of ponies and super stocks. Neil Eisler was the winner, Rick Stagan second, Jim Kreider third, and hobby stock and pony stock was ran on the Dave's LTD. And then the FNRS kicked off their 2019 series with the first race of the 2019 series at the slot car track Concord in Concord, North Carolina. And in the LMP class, Cameron Auld was your winner. Walker was second. And then third was Jimmy Johnson from the B main. So that was your overall top three. In the stock car race, I was the winner. Russ Martin was second, and Guy Spalding was third. Do we have a name for the oval? Because
How about?
I just call it the speedball because that's really what it is.
I mean, yeah, you can call it that. I mean, every time we race on it, we just call it. You know,
Okay.
we just say there's gonna be a wreck fest, so we can.
Well, it was kind of funny because like before the race started, and it was the first time I'd been there and really not seen too many races on that track. I knew that because the cars go around there and like what I guess average 1.5 seconds per lap. So if a car comes off and you manage to grab it, it's going to be a hard time putting it on without the car coming around and hitting you. So
I did that like once or twice.
So anyway, so I remember, so Ralph was marshaling and the car came off and he reached in there to get it. Another car hit it and he pulled his hand out there. He said, "I'm not sticking my hand in there." I said, "It's just like a big mixed salad. Just put your hand in there, and pull a tomato out, and maybe we'll call it the mixer. I don't know."
I like the mix of bodies on the podium there.
Yeah, there was a mix of bodies. We can talk about that too. So then in GTP, Walker was your winner. I was second. And
right.
Ralph Thorne was third. And that's your winner chicken dinner report. There was a NorCal Enduro last week, but I didn't see any race results on that yet, so we'll have to talk about that.
Go figure.
On another show. Go figure. Why would you go figure?
They ever post their results?
Well,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anyone.
No problem.
Sunday, Friday.
Okay, this weekend, January 19th, you got the Hillbilly Nats at the Slot Cars Are Us in White House, Tennessee. The Ohio Challenge Cup Series is at Tom Thumb Hobbies in Columbus, Ohio. JPM Hard Body Series is at Thaser. Gator Retro Racing Region is in action in Florida. Retro East is in action. And we have the Hard Body Enduro Race at Archdale, North Carolina. And then we also have, we had this race last weekend too, and I didn't see anything about this race. So we'll see what we can find out for next week. And then the weekend of the 25th and 27th, we got the Checkpoint Cup at Buena Park Raceway. And then we have BRS Retro at Fast Tracks, Fremont, Ohio. And we have the Mid-South Series at American Adrenaline Speedway in Randleman, North Carolina. Are you going to that, Walker?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You'll be our on-the-scene reporter for that.
Oh, yeah.
In memorandum this week, David Liebenthal, who owned Performance Racing, passed away this week after kind of a long fight with diabetes and some other health-related issues to that. David was a longtime wing car racer. Kind of known David since the 80s. But he started out like an International 15 racer and then raced 27s and then Group 7s. And he started Performance probably in 1994, 95. And we started off doing balancing services and motor services and rebuilding services. And he got into like some different products along the way. And I'm sure that Shane probably bought some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
From
I've known Dave for a while.
Yep, a lot of racers. Dave was a good guy and everything, and he's no longer with us. So, and then last week we told everyone about Paul Pfeiffer having a heart attack, and I seen an email yesterday that Paul's had his surgery and he is recovering. So that's a good sign. There, nothing else was said. So I'll take that as good news. So, and that's all I got. So, okay, so so Walker brought up the difference in bodies, I guess, in the stock car race
Yeah,
on the
it
podium.
was fun to see. It was cool to see finally a variety in bodies, which is what the oval track brings out because people have different philosophies for things. Like there was a JK NASCAR body, a few of your non-COT and COTs, a few Ralph bodies, non-COT and COT. It was
Right.
nice seeing a lot of different bodies instead of the same thing.
It was a mixture. I mean, okay, so I had both non-COT and COT bodies, and different heights in the rear didn't seem to make any difference, lap time wise or anything. And my non-COT body was just that skosh faster than a COT body.
Yeah.
So I just went with it.
Yeah, and you saw how much the back of my body was cut out, I'm sure, whenever you
Right. And
because
I think everybody ran the back of their body cut out except me.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like,
everybody did.
so
We
you
were
know,
all
like,
trying to figure out like why isn't his body cut
well,
out?
okay, so like
Thought you were hiding
we
something.
talked to me and Shane talked about that race, and then we kind of talked about the pre-show. I mean, the car was good, and I thought, well, man, if I cut the back out, maybe it'll go a little bit better. But then if I cut the back out and it doesn't go better, I can't put the back in it. So, and I didn't have another body mounted just like that one. So I was just like, you know what? We're going to go with what we got. And at the end of the day, I don't think it made any difference. So,
Yeah, I mean like mine I cut it like that. Whenever I was just messing around, I was like, I'm gonna build a car. I'm not gonna really care all that much.
right.
I'm sure to get wadded up. So I painted the body and cut it as low as I could. Figured, I might as well just cut the back out of it. So that's whenever I messaged you. I was like, how far can we cut the back out of the
All of
body?
it.
And yeah, so I was like, okay. So there was like barely a lip there. Well, then after like 5 laps of practice, it split. So then I had to put a piece of tape there to keep it from ripping in half.
But see, you're living and learning.
Oh yeah, I mean it
Now, what I
was
probably should have done a high size, I probably should have punched some holes in the back of my body with a hole punch.
yeah,
If it made it worse, then I could just put a piece of clear tape over the holes. And,
yeah.
if,
I was
if it
just
was
thinking about
if it was like holding any air in there, making it,
yeah.
like handle better, I mean, don't
I've
know.
always thought about doing that because like lean car guys do that on like the side of their bodies and stuff to
Right.
cut drag. So I've always thought about doing that with like GTP cars. It's like punching a random hole in the side, seeing if it helps or not. I
That's your
don't know if
homework
it will.
assignment for your next
Yeah.
race.
All right. I'll try it. Hopefully I paint more than one body.
And then in LMP, there was quite a range of bodies because
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was the only person to run that.
right. And I would
And
say the rest of the field was kind of, well,
I
like
think
Mike.
Guy ran a
Yeah,
like
he
flat spotty or
he
something.
ran a Acura.
Yeah.
And Mike Meisenheimer ran like a Bentley.
JK, I
No, out of
think.
sight.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's old.
So yeah, it was old. And then you ran the Red Fox Nissan, and I guess everybody else
Ran
kind of
either
like
the
either Ralph's
Austin
Orca
Sears.
or my Harpoon body. So
Yeah.
in mixed results, because yeah, on the podium of that you had three different bodies:
Yeah. Yeah. There was a good variety on that one
Orca,
too.
Nissan, and a
Podium.
Harpoon. So
Yeah.
and
And it
Jimmy
was
Johnson, was pretty outstanding, finishing third overall from the B main.
yeah, but she had a lot of laps. That was a really clean race by the looks of it because
Right.
we were eating lunch. We
Yeah.
came back and looked and we were like, man, he's got a lot of laps. I was like, we can't have a dirty race. And then we go into the A main and it's absolutely terrible. And there's just everybody's bouncing off the walls everywhere.
Well, in all the races, they all had 7 guys in them. I mean, it wasn't like they had one less guy or something compared to the A main. But
Yeah, that A main had 8 in it. So
to me, it just seemed like there was 2 or 3 cars in the A main that was extremely loose.
yeah.
So
Yeah, they were fast in orange, but orange was extremely stuck.
yeah, a lot of practice laps on orange.
Yeah.
And then most guys ate it on either red or white because the dead man's pretty tight.
Yeah. Dead man's definitely a hard change of pace compared to everything else now.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
before it was a little easier to get used to before because you didn't have to. I mean, you still had to slow down that much, if not a little more.
right.
But you're just going so much faster now than we were before that it just seemed like we should have been able to go through the dead man faster, but we couldn't.
Right. Yeah, because everywhere else the track is like almost not full punch, but you can just go so hard.
Yeah, you can go really
When you
fast.
become the dead man, it's like, oh, we got to slow down and stop for this.
It reminds me of Marks.
A little bit. Yep. I mean, it's definitely an old school dead man.
Yeah. It's an elevated turn.
Yep.
The finger is fast. Like, the finger is pretty banked. It's nice.
I was full punch.
Yeah, the finger's pretty good.
I was safety blipping because I didn't want to wall it.
Safety blipping.
Yeah, I was making myself feel good by flexing my hand.
And then Shane was flying in the GTP race, and I came off and bounced off the wall back into his path.
Some old dude.
He drilled me.
Did
you lose 1 braid or 2 braid?
I lost 1.
Okay.
Didn't break the guide. It just spit it out.
You spit the braid, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how because it was in there. And
what heat was it where like me and you started laughing in the middle of the heat?
I don't remember.
Well, I think it was
me or
yeah, it was you. Like you.
I
think
probably
it was
me because I was sitting over there looking at the computer and I was like, well, there's second, there's third. I'm like, Josh, you got it, buddy? Josh, he's over there shaking and doing this.
Yeah, and then you got
And
me laughing.
I think
quit it, stop.
Yeah.
I forget who was next to me, but I remember I told the guy next to me, I was like, all right, I'm coming back on in the donut. He's getting ready to put me on, so be careful in the donut because I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
Because like the stock car race, I mean, I know you know, Walker had problems, of course. He didn't finish. I didn't have any problems. I mean, yeah, I came off of, well, I don't know. I don't know how to say it. I didn't really come off, but I allowed myself to get knocked off, I guess.
Yeah, that's basically how racing on that track is.
Yeah, and my thing was that I didn't feel like anyone took me out. I just stuck my nose in or tried to pass where I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
You got impatient.
Well, no, I just thought I could go by them and clear them, but not racing on that track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't do that on that track.
No. So
it's hard. Even scale's way worse. I mean, you run a 4.5 car on that track, you're like,
yeah, that should be exciting.
Either cooperate or wreck.
And then, the LMP race, the A main was pretty close between 3 or 4 guys.
Yeah, we were close up top.
And then towards the end, you and Cameron pulled away, and you actually got into the lead and then came out. And
then he was in the lead, and he came out, and I was back in the lead. And then there was
I just remember you falling off. You got in the lead, you fell off, and he got back in the lead, and he won.
There was a big wreck in the finger that I had to stop for. And
probably me.
He walked away. It probably was. And then I sat there for like a lap, and I was like, well, there goes that one.
And then in GTP, going into the last heat, myself, Walker, and Ralph were all tied, all in the dead man. I'm like 6 inches ahead of you, and you're 6 inches ahead of Ralph. And we're all finishing on good lanes. I mean, Ralph was on purple, and I was on orange, and you were on yellow. So
yeah, I knew I was on the best lane, so I knew I was in the best position.
Yeah, and then my car was too low in the front, and I was loose on the outer lanes. Because, like, Shane was rocking on yellow, and I was on blue, and I was like, yellow's pretty good, ain't it, Shane? He goes, oh, dude, it's like rock and roll. And then, when I got there, I was just loose coming up the donut, which that's because my car was too low in the front. So
yeah, I think that's why you had issues in the Dead Man too in Red, because you came out there
No.
a few times.
Yeah, he only came out there a couple times, but that was just not having my timing down right.
Yeah, and
You compensate for the turn, and sometimes you brake too early, then you accelerate too soon.
Right.
You hook the rubber and it pulls the front out, because I caught myself doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a timing issue for me. But after because there was one time I blew in there and I'm like, oh, I'm coming off. And the car just hooked right around. I'm like, whoa, I don't want to do that again. Because, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
Every once in a while you hit it perfect. You're like, whoa.
See, whenever I got good on red and white was when we had that Enduro that lasted till like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that Phoenix Enduro got me really good.
And I haven't raced on it really, and almost, it's like I think I was talking to your dad not too long ago. We were trying to figure out the last time I raced on that track.
Probably the Enduro,
I was like, it
wasn't
had
it?
to be close. Huh?
That'd be the Enduro, wasn't it?
I guess so. We were trying to think. I think it was the Enduro, because I'm not sure if I raced on it after that or not. It's been a while.
You raced on that hard body Enduro after, and then that was it.
Yeah.
So anyway,
hard body Enduro after the Phoenix Enduro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought red and white was pretty good in the GTP race. Way better than practice for sure. And red and white.
Black was amazing.
Yeah, and red and white was they're definitely the long way around because you have to stop so much in the Dead Man.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Black was absurd.
I don't know. You guys know better than me. I don't know what the track was like before, but I thought the track was pretty good.
Yeah, it was way different than it used to be.
I mean, it's an older. You guys did a good job redoing it for sure. It's an older track. I don't want to say it's rough. I don't want to say it's bumpy because that sounds bad, but
it has character.
Yeah, it has character. It's an older track. It's like,
I remember whenever I got there Friday because I had to work. I think, what was it? You and Bobby both said track's on it. All right. I remember I went out there and practiced, and I was like, yeah. Well, here we go. Now we got
Bobby came in. Bobby came in and put his car down. He was running a few laps, and I walked over to him and said, "How's the track, Bobby?" He said, "This thing's a punch bowl now."
Yeah, because he told me it was a punch bowl, and I'm like, out the road, I'm like, you can't punch a car.
Yeah. It's just so much different than what it used to be. It feels like a punch bowl.
Right.
It's just unbelievable.
So, in the oval track is just it's a traffic jam.
The oval track, whoever's the most patient.
Yeah, a lot of people will make comments about, like, oh, you can hold your car wide open, and that's not very fun. Well,
they didn't race.
Yeah,
I had fun, so I broke.
When you're out there by yourself doing that, yeah, you're right, it's not fun. But when you're in the race, believe me.
Yeah, 8 cars on the track.
No matter if you're letting up or holding it wide open, it's full.
It's hell.
It's full of action.
Yeah.
It's
always fun to watch.
That's a whole different challenge on that track racing that way because you just stand there and hold wide open and
Talladega waiting on the big one.
Right, and then one time, I remember I let up real early, and Ralph was like, "What did you let up like way back there for?" I said, "Look at that down there." And all these cars are sliding down the bank. I was like, they drove right into them.
Yeah.
Because I think whenever y'all were racing on the oval, what did we do? I think we were practicing for GTP.
Yes, you guys were.
I was practicing for GTP about halfway through that race.
Yes.
I think you came around the corner. You're like, I'm broke. I'm like, oh.
Well, whose chassis was bent worse, yours or your dad's?
Mine was fixable, okay?
Because your dad had no quit in him.
Oh, my God. Dad's was so bad because he just kept going and getting it worse and worse.
Right.
He gave it to me, and this right here was like back there. And I looked at it, and I was like, this isn't going to work. Oh, that poor car. Both of them got destroyed, but mine was at least flattenable.
So what did we see? Well, you know what? I'm not even going to go there. Shane, what did you see a lot of guys having problems with?
Hanging bodies below the pans.
Not trimming off the bottom of their body.
You gotta trim the side skirts, or your car will be loose.
And
Yeah.
another thing is right here. You got to make sure that doesn't touch too.
Right, your rear
Yeah.
skirts.
In the bank.
Yep.
Any track.
I didn't see any problems with that, but like there was, what was it? One car went out there and it was zzz, zzz.
Wasn't James Johnson like just wall to wall qualifying in GTP, and that's when
I think so. And then
you were
he
like,
brought his car around and I grabbed it and I turned it upside down to look at it. And I was like, dude, here's your problem. You got like a 1/4 inch body hanging below the pan.
Yeah.
And then we trimmed that for his feature, and
yeah, he led.
he was like, this car's awesome. I was
Yeah,
like,
because I think he was actually leading. Because I think he was in the B main. I think he was actually leading it, but then he had some other issues. He hit somebody and kind of messed his car up. But
that's the thing. If he was in the B main with that, imagine if that was fixed for qualifying.
well, he probably would have made the A.
Yeah.
Or been real close to making the A.
I mean, there was at least 3 cars because I was helping put cars on the track that whenever they came off, I noticed, if they were having problems.
Right.
There was at least 3 that I seen the bodies were hanging low, and then there was one that the lead wire was hanging through, and I just kind of pushed it up in there.
Walker had that problem.
It was probably
You
mine.
did?
Oh yeah.
Red
I
Lane.
ran
was
over my
Mark's.
tire on red.
It was your dad's little fat buddy, Mark.
Well, that was like okay. So we start the GTP main. I start on white. Walker starts on orange. Russ starts on purple. You were on blue. Ralph was on black. Bobby was on red. And Terry Tawney from Florida was on green.
Yeah.
We start the race, and I'm thinking, well, after the first heat, I'll probably be a lap down because white's just, it's a long way around there. So, I don't know, we run the heat, and at the end of the heat, me, Walker, and I think you and Bobby, we're all on the same lap. No, Bobby wasn't at that point.
I think it was like 4 at the top and then
There was 4
somebody
of us on the same lap. Russ was like a lap down because he'd had problems with his body on purple, and maybe it was Ralph was the 4th car on the run.
I don't remember.
So I go to red, and I'm thinking, well, yeah, I'm going to go down here, which I did. So Walker was leading you were leading by 2 after the second heat.
Yeah, I was leading.
And I was in second, 2 behind you. And I'm thinking, well, okay, I'm going to go to green. I'll get a lap back at least. And then at the end of the heat, that's like
I lost 5.
I think I was leading.
I lost 5 that heat.
Yeah, I think I was leading. Well, I think me and Shane duked it out. And you might have been actually leading by a couple of feet after the 3rd heat. But
I was not.
Walker's like 4 laps behind me. I'm like, wow, what did he do on red? Because
it was. I didn't wreck. It was just.
your lead wire was hanging out.
Yeah, it was me forgetting to do this. It was me forgetting to do that. And
Okay.
hate the stupid lead wire. Did it on my own P. Forgot to do it on my GTP. Paid for it, but then I didn't come off but like once or twice the rest of the race.
Right. So then I went to blue, and I didn't have a good blue, and then I
that was the
Shane's
heat that I
way
caught
and cost him, and
I think I got like 2 laps in my green lane on you guys
because Russ pulled out. Russ pulled out what about the 4th heat?
It was towards the end.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Because
I don't remember.
he had lots of lack of body armor.
Yeah, lack of body armor.
Or body reinforcement in the rear.
His destination was reached.
Yeah. What happened? Okay, so then what happened to Bobby?
He probably had the same issue that Shane had where he hit somebody that came off. Probably messed him up or something.
Yeah, it could have been. I don't know.
Because Bobby was fast too.
Bobby was fast, yeah. But he just lost time somewhere and never made it back.
And, like, I had a super clean rest of the race while you guys kept, like, everybody was wrecking everywhere, and I was just, like, clean.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I caught up. Because the next time I came off was in black whenever you had came off in front of me in the dead man, and I, like, smoked you. And my body got messed up. Yeah, I hit you. You came off in the dead man. You were in yellow, and I was in black, and you came off there.
Okay.
And I hit you. My body was messed up for like a full minute. And I came off once in the finger after that.
Everyone was getting a piece of Ron this race.
Yeah, because I think I was a lap up before that heat. And then after that, I had to slow down a lot to preserve. So, but
Yeah, because I knew start of the last heat, I knew that you were going to pull away. I didn't know what me and Ralph were going to wind up doing, but I wound up pulling away from Ralph, and
Yeah.
so it was a good race.
It was a really good race. Both LMP and GTP were both close races.
And Shane was like the blistering fast lap of the race. On the
Yeah, I wanted to run you down because I came off.
before I got in. Yeah, before I got in your way.
And that's what cost me was I ran you down.
Yeah, I said my car was really hooking good on the donut, and then after
You were getting ready to say
after
something
this-
right as you said it. It was too
I was
late.
like,
I killed it. And they
bam.
put it back on, and I'm like, there's nothing there. They're like, Braid. And they look, and for whatever reason, I got the car right here.
Braid just popped out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it jacked it up. It jacked it up a little bit, but I mean, it's not like it's falling out easily.
Right.
Heck, my guide flag is
So, I don't know. I hit it just right.
That's my GTP car there, and it's got a spot in the guide flag right here.
I think that's
The only
what surprised you the most was that's what I ran. The old Mazzetti.
Well, I ran that on the stock car race.
But yeah, if I ran stock car, that's what I would have ran too.
Well, just that whole package just turned out to be way faster than any other package in the box. So
most reliable. Because what was it? I think Terratani, I asked him, I was like, are you running NASCAR? And he was like, no. I was like, what happened? And I guess he took 2 defenders there, and he killed him in practice, and he was like, I'm not doing anymore. So
Yeah.
I think that's the same thing that happened to Russ, I think. Because I think he ran a defender that had the ears sticking out, and one of them bent up.
Well, he ran a defender, and he ran a heavy pan on the inside and a light, and they were both metal pan, 3-piece car.
Right.
And he ran a heavy pan on the inside and a light pan on the outside. And I just ran a straight up Patriot Striker with the new blue pan on it, I guess.
Yeah.
Which the Striker was really the only Mazzetti car that I liked on our track.
Well, I think the Striker would have made a good LMP car.
Yeah, between that and the JK were probably the 2 best chassis other than this one. Because, I think that the Defender didn't have enough weight in it for the LMP car for that track.
I played around with it, and, I hate those motors, but that's another story.
Yeah, I do too. But at least you can buy a new one and it's fast now. That's a plus.
Yeah. The 13's definitely even the field out.
Yeah.
13.2.
Yeah, running the baby pinions in that class. Slowed the cars down too much, too.
Baby pinions.
I mean, really, who wants to run that little pinion in LMP? On 10-tooth 48 pitch. So
what was the spread in qualifying? Because we were all pretty close, weren't we?
In what class?
LMP.
He was on the pole with 74, and Terry Tawney was second at 76.
I have the results right here. Hold on.
Oh, because it
LMP.
It took an 88 to make that. Okay, so fastest was 374, and the 7th fastest in the A main was a 388.
Gotcha.
So 10th and almost a half.
Yeah, I mean,
it wasn't like it was before, where A main was like 2 to 3 tenths quicker.
Yeah, there could have been a couple tenths difference between.
Well, a lot of the C main guys were 4.1s, and then a lot of the B main guys were 3.9s. So, I mean, there were good, all the races were full of people that were close.
Equally matched as far as times.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't like there was anybody that wasn't really supposed to be in that class.
And then GTP qualifying was probably closer because
I was the first one in the 3.5s.
Yeah, because I went 47.
It took me forever to get qualified.
48.
Or it took me forever to get into tech.
I got to scroll all the way through all this stupid NASCAR stuff so I can get there.
There's where your biggest discrepancy was in NASCAR.
Who picked Concourse?
In which class?
GTP.
I did.
You like that 5-minute paint job?
The car looked good.
Yeah, it did look good. I painted. I was like, man, I forgot that paint scheme looks so good.
Looked good.
All right, GTP. So top 7 were A main or top 6? Top 7.
7.
Okay, so Ron did a 347, and Terry was the bottom of the A at 369.
Oh, that was bigger than I thought then.
Yeah, so 2 tenths from top to
I
bottom.
tried to get him to run a 4 or a 3.3, but he caught on to my scheme.
Who?
You remember you were like, "Did I get him?" And I'm like, "No." And you're like, "I didn't." No.
Ooh,
And Bobby was like, "Yeah." I'm just like, I want to see him do a 3.3.
What were you saying, Ron?
Ooh, you almost had it.
Almost had it. You almost had it.
You almost had that one.
You wouldn't have been in it if it wasn't for his motor, so I wouldn't go bragging too much.
I would have probably still made the A, honestly.
He'd be pushing it. He'd have been making car noises.
I would have made the A with the motor Russ gave me, because I would have been a mid to low 50 with it. I ran a 54 with it in practice.
You don't know because you did it with Ron's motor.
And the motor I gave you, I didn't even try anything. I just reached in. You said you needed a motor. If I had a motor, you could. I said, here, take this, try it. If it's good, fine. If
it
it's
looked
not
like
so
it said "co" on it, so I was like, "Oh man."
If it's not so good, bring it back. I'll give you another one to try, because I didn't go through all my motors in one car, and
it was good. I mean, it didn't pull quite like the one you had, but it was plenty better than everything else I had, and it was better than a lot of people's. So I was like,
of course it was better. It lasted the whole race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So me and Walker
ran bigger radiators on them.
Me and Walker ran Scorpion motors. I think everyone else in the A ran FKs.
Yeah, I didn't FK.
I think we were the only people that ran Scorpions.
What did I have?
I had several people ask me after at the race and after race, if I tried my FK motors on the King Cobra. I said no. Just put Scorpion motors on my GTP cars, and I put the FKs in the oval cars, and so I never tried a Scorpion on the oval track, and I never tried an FK motor on the.
Yeah.
But I'd like to think that I probably have, between all the motors, I probably had a faster motor per se than what I actually raced, but I'll never know for sure because I didn't.
I tried. I had 4 cars that all ran the same lap in practice. I was just like, all right. In this particular car, I like the way it came up the donut and hit the lead on. So I was just like,
because the difference in my GTP cars speed-wise wasn't because of motor. It was because
there's a donut lead on.
Yeah, there was just 2 cars that stood out of the other cars.
That lead on's a lot tougher than it looks.
Yep.
I picked the car that came off the lead on the straightest, and I was like, that's the one I want.
And I had such a hard time picking tires for GTP because I was either going to pick Alphas or Cofords, and I ended up running Cofords.
Wonder.
But Wonder. But the Alphas were a little better in red, but the Cofords were a little better on the black end of the racetrack. So I was trying to figure out which one I wanted.
Right.
I trued up a set. I think Tech was open already because I remember I looked at you, Ron, and I was like, who are you waiting on? And you were like, there's still a couple. Why? And I was like, I just trued these tires. I want to scuff them in, and I don't want to be the first one to qualify either. So.
Well, that's like, okay. So then, at one point, Shane was kind of like, you got a car I can try. And I said, well, yeah, here's my backup car, and I told you, the tires aren't right on it. I mean, right. And I just could never really get the right tire on that car.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I ran it a couple of laps.
Because on Friday, that car was just as good as the car I raced.
Right.
But on Saturday, with the track changed a little bit, I could never find the right tire.
Yeah, because I ran it a couple of laps. I was like, all right. I was like, this is about as good as what I got. And I was like, let me see what it'll do if I push it. I hit the dead man. And I'm like, I don't want to kill this thing.
And then I came back and said, well, you should have probably tried your tires on it because maybe your tires –
right.
But you had something I hadn't even tried yet, so who knows?
That's fun.
Yeah.
I ran JK, Wonder, and L&P because, it was the first pair of tires I had,
And they
I
work.
used those just to like check motors,
Right.
and then I ended up having those tires as the best ones. They barely passed tech. I was a little scared on that one.
Yeah, I don't think I bounced anybody for being too low.
Yeah, that was good. You
I
bounced me.
bounced you for having offset in your car.
You would have bounced at least like 5.
Oh, that was in NASCAR.
Yeah, he had his right rear out there like quarter of
Yeah,
an
you can
inch.
only have. I thought you were allowed a quarter of an inch.
No,
No, is it 1/8 inch?
no.
What is it?
It's like can't be way out past the body. His offset was so far out there, it was going to just nerf other cars off.
Well, it was a unwritten rule sort of thing.
Yeah, well, it'll be a written rule here, and by the time this show airs.
So
Way to
like
go, Walker.
I set up like 4 or 5 cars like that. Mine was like that. My dad's was like that. Mark's was like that. Zach's was like that. And I gave tires to Cameron for Cameron to do it like that too.
But did your car go any faster being offset like that?
I don't know.
Well, either it did or it didn't.
It went slower after I fixed it, but I don't know if it was because I just grabbed a random tire and put it on there.
Oh, okay.
Because the only tires I had sitting on my table were hard.
Right.
So I didn't have a soft tire to put on the inside.
Right.
So
that was probably.
I don't even remember running left rear. Just left rear is just there for looks.
yeah.
Yeah, and you don't need a right rear brake. You don't need that extra.
It's like dirt
That
racing.
reminds me of something that I
Free brake
tried.
car.
You don't need a left front in dirt racing. It's just there for looks.
So whenever I was putting together the car to try, I was testing and I was thinking, wonder what would happen if I were to put a collar there and just not tighten down that tire. Didn't work.
Oh, we tried to run a free spinner.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah, it don't work.
No grip.
It don't
Dragon
work.
chassis.
I was hoping. That would have been great.
You ever
Well,
seen that video of Scott Bloomquist? He won. I don't know if it was the race or if it was just his feature. The left front was like
Yeah.
it was just pointing there, and he just kept it off the track.
Yeah.
Limited slip rear ends don't work. Or I guess that's a full slip.
Yeah, that's a full slip, no limited. Maybe I could have put some tire glue there or something, then it kind of like slip half the time.
Yeah, okay.
Goop in the track.
Anything else exciting going on in slot world?
We have
Dinner
ice
was
cream.
awesome Saturday.
Yeah,
It was.
it was fun making fun of.
Got to
Russell
watch the
Wilson.
defeat of Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we got a history lesson on how the NFL is rigged.
Oh yeah, I was
Oh,
out
from
of
the
it by
waiter,
then.
right? The waiter was
I was so
I
tired
was just
and
trying to
ready
make
to go.
fun of Russ, and the dude's over here giving us a history lesson about
no, he
how.
was giving you and Russ a history lesson.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
'cause I remember at one point you looked at me, Ron. You were like, "I am tuning him out," and I'm like, "I just want my check so I can go." I was like, "I am tired."
Yep.
I was sitting there and I was just like, yeah. And then I figured, I might as well just say something that'll really piss him off.
Dad started talking to him. I'm like, "Oh, here goes another hour."
All right. So, yeah, and then we're supposed to get more snow this weekend, so I don't know what effect that'll have on
You
racing.
racing this weekend or
I don't think so.
no?
No.
I got an Enduro to go to.
I haven't even opened my boxes are still sitting where I put them.
I opened mine up about 30 minutes before the show because I normally set my phone up on them.
Yeah, my next race will be retro racing.
Next race will be Flexies back at Walker's Big Juicies.
And
Big juicy.
the 24-hour race is still on. I had people ask me if it was still on, and there hasn't been a whole lot of promo on that because it's full up. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's 8 teams, and
There's no
Right.
point.
yeah, you don't need more guys. I mean, some of the teams are full, and
Yeah,
Some of the
which I
teams-
mean, I guess some of the teams that aren't full could be like trying to find people.
yeah, I mean, I think there's maybe 1 or 2 teams that might be looking for someone to
Yeah.
join them, but it doesn't have to be enough.
Shane.
Oh, nah, you can hang that up. Nah.
I want to get my dad to do it. That'd be fun.
So it's still on for
I was asked when it first started if I wanted to be on a team because I think Ron asked me, then
And I asked you as well.
I think Bud asked me, and I was just like, "No, I'm not."
We'll have
So I
more
wanted to have a
I'll
varsity.
have a full team list because I told everybody they got to have their final roster in the next couple of days. So
I texted like 3 different team leaders asking them before I asked you which if any teams still had spots, and I never got a reply for 2 of them.
right,
I was like, hey, thanks.
they don't want you.
But,
Okay, so it's that magic moment of the show.
oh
What is
God.
the secret word?
So the secret word per Jim, what's his last name? Harder.
Jim Harder had a suggestion.
Had a suggestion that we made it Green
Abbreviate.
Lanes friendly.
We're going to abbreviate it.
So it's A-L.
And those
Let
are
y'all think of it.
some of those are worth the race. Know the inside scoop on that. So
Yeah. So,
no pun
but
intended.
he asked, and I was like, "Yeah, we'll do it."
So AL is the secret word.
Got to put the dash in the middle. 2 words.
2 words, but we're just going to abbreviate to A-L.
And for those that are scratching their head, it's a side effect of some prescription pills.
Some prescription medicines.
Yep. So
And if you
yeah,
can guess it,
I was laughing probably more about it.
Interior.
What is that?
It's
an
an interior. Walker
Oh,
says
that's like a HO body.
he says if someone really actually guesses the words, he will give them that interior.
It's one a race,
He's
so it's 1 for 1.
she's putting the challenge into this secret word.
No, Jim, you cannot have my interior if you guess the word.
Jim's in Florida fishing
Jim
right
is
now.
exempt from the contest.
Yeah.
But okay, so it was really good. Okay, before we go, I mean, it was really good that Terry Tawney came up from Florida and
Jim came.
Well, Jim was on his way to Florida, so that was kind of like a pit stop. So
Yeah.
I
I
think
was happy that the guys came from Atlanta too. Ralph
and James Johnson came up from Atlanta and
Barry.
Yeah, Barry Jansen. Well, I guess he's from Tennessee, but he races in Atlanta. So
yeah, and we had a pretty decent local turnout for us because usually it sucks for us locals, but we got some local guys that come and race. So.
Yeah, you had some people there that
A local guy won LMP.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah, and guys like Vince Thomas and Mark Cobble and
Josh Richardson and
well, Josh
Wayne.
had some trouble, and so did Wayne, but Mark and Cameron, they ran really good.
Yeah. Yeah, Mark did really well. He hasn't raced in like 5 years. He came in and he was like, "Hey, you gonna build me some cars?" Like last week. I was like, "Yeah, sure."
So,
okay.
Yeah, decent turnout, and I think there would have been more guys there from Virginia, but with the storm coming in and everything, I'm pretty sure that's what kept Fred Yonkin away. Maybe.
Yeah, it kind of sucked that storm came in because I'm sure we could have had a lot more from like Virginia and places like that.
Right. So.
And Timmy had to work more, and there was a lot of local Archdale guys that couldn't come because they were working or doing other stuff.
So. We still had a good fun time.
Mm-hmm. It was great.
The ice cream shop still had a lot of business.
Yep. And your mom did a super job running the races, race directing.
Yeah.
She about took you out. She's laughing at.
And your dad did a bang-up job embarrassing her.
Oh, yeah.
That's every race.
Yeah.
So.
Last night, I know she won't watch this, so she won't hear me say this. But last night, in our NASCAR race, I'm going to
text her right now.
Go ahead. In the NASCAR race, her car kept coming off. Well, she came off, and she yelled, "Track!" And I was like, "It's not a track call, Mom." She said, "Yeah, it is. My car's messed up." So I walked over and grabbed it. And I looked at it, and I was like, "I don't really see nothing wrong with it." And I took it over to my box, and I said, "I'm going to pretend like I'm going to bend something here real quick." And then took it back. And then she didn't complain about it for another heat or two. And then she said it was chattering a lot, and I looked at it, and the dang axle was bent. It's like, oh, that's nice.
Oh,
A
running
lot of
some of them unnamed brand axles, huh?
Actually, no, it was like some long axle. I don't know what it was. It
Well-
was in the car already. It was a dad build. Yeah,
Okay.
dad sort of thing. But it was out, and both of her rear tires were square.
So who was running the races last night?
My sister. She
Okay.
actually did something. That's a.
Oh, easy now. Your sister was putting it on you Saturday night at dinner.
She was my hero.
What I
You were
told
getting her pretty good too. I mean, I was in the middle of the tennis match,
Oh yeah, I was.
and it was going back and forth pretty
what I
bad.
told Ron was the best. One of the best things I've ever said.
Yeah, I don't think you can say what you told me.
No, I can't. I cannot say that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to know, message me. I will tell you.
Yeah.
No hints.
No hints.
I will not.
I know
give you
nothing.
Nope. All right.
Nope.
That's
Big
it. For us.
juicy friends with all.
Do I?
And Big Juicy is friends with all.
Oh yeah, that's my nickname. You gotta explain the Big Juicy. I gave Walker the nickname Big Juicy this weekend.
I know you did.
Good
All
stuff.
right. That's enough for episode 7.
Past my bedtime.
Until next week, everyone, have fun, be safe. Go slot car racing. Support your local raceway. See you guys.
Have a good night.